Georges Braque's Man with a Guitar from 1911 is an excellent example of analytical cubism, which is characterized by cubes, straight lines, and a narrow range of colors in browns, grays, and tans. There is a concentration of cubes toward the center staging or scaffolding, while the artist gives little information about the age or personality of the subject. These identifying details are presented in the painting as keys. We see, for example, a nose, a chin, a mustache, an arm, a finger, an instrument table, a glass. We can see lighter colors and softer brushworks around the figure to signify a sense of atmosphere. The texture and movement of individual brushstrokes help to characterize the shape and prominence of individual cubes. Notice the key and robe in the upper left-hand corner of this painting. Picasso and Braque, like the Futurists, were strongly influenced by the aesthetics of simultaneity, according to which several segments of time and memory are represented in a single instant. According to simultaneity, reality was discovered through related or relative fragments of time that could be experienced momentarily as one spatial continuum. Braque's cubes are individually painted. Each cube is separately rendered in light and shadow, and each cube seems to slide into another at one of its angles, forming a sense of continuity in a flat plane of color that the French referred to as passage or passage. This was a way of linking together different distances in a picture. Raymond Duchamp Villon's The Large Horse from 1914 is an intellectual construct for the pleasure of the mind. It is a mechanical construct in part, but also suggests the movement of a rearing horse. This sculpture began as a group with a rider trying to restrain a rearing, almost mechanically compelled horse in a series of drawings by the artist. Duchamp Villon has combined fragments of an identifiable horse, that is, we can make out the head, the neck, and the hoof, with, on the other hand, machine forms, the compact, dynamic design, suggesting straining muscular animal energy as well. For example, in machine parts, we can see the motor casing, the piston, which strip away extraneous details to give us an essence of this animal motion, animal strength that we can associate with mechanical. And we can think of the positive effect of the machine. The machine can do anything that the animal or the human can do. So it's an eternal optimism in the machine, which is very prominent in the early 20th century. Charles Demuth, My Egypt from 1927. Demuth, like Sheeler, was a precisionist, also interested in the forms of the machine and their simple shapes, streamlined movements. We saw how Charles Sheeler sought a classical harmony and balance in the urban environment of the factory. Here in this painting, we see the crisp, geometrical, rectilinear cylinders and cubes. Even a simplified version of cubism is represented. However, Demuth refuses to shatter masses into planes. Rather, he simplifies, he purifies lines and structures which cut across objects. Here there is reference to the pyramids of Egypt. This is his pyramid, his wonder of the world. We can think of the grain elevators of the Midwest, which are his wonders. On the other hand, we see the futurist lines of force creating linear patterns across this particular work. They might remind us of wires. On the other hand, they might remind us of the rays of light that are beaming down from different angles Um, Robert Delaunay's The Eiffel Tower from 1910 and 14. In fact, Delaunay made a series of paintings of this subject, of this great landmark in Paris. Here, geometric forms and the urban industrial environment are toppling. Not the choice of geometric forms, but rather the organization that establishes the style. Here we have to say that the rhythm of color and shapes and hues, as well as the interrelationship of colors, determines space for Delaunay. Delaunay wants to depict movement, and he wants rhythm to substitute for perspective. The energy of the tower is part of his purpose here. How motion and space around the tower become one. Our eye is looking up and across from adjacent buildings. Delaunay is interested in not what we see, but rather our experience of the tower from the height. And he shows this in geometric shapes, which are repeated to create a compelling rhythm in motion. We look at the tower from below and from the side. In fact, all of these different points of view seem to be confusing, and they seem to make noise and contradict one another, creating a tremendous amount of movement and anxiety as we look around the tower, peering at it through great heights and also through smoke and atmosphere. We experience the tenderness, the sense of embrace, the care, the compassion. We recognize these particular expressions anywhere. And we see here, again, large, powerful figures and groupings of figures that have to be experienced in the round and get to experience the depth of their feeling or desire.